Call them now at 888-5222. This is HTOS on AM 1050 KCAA, leaving no listener behind.
That's my case in point. It's too brutal. We cannot air it because we don't want to let the American know what's really going on over there.
They want us out. They don't. Once we're out, it'll become stable.
All the Iraqis want us out?
All of them want us to stay. You know, all these reality shows hiding the truth of what's really happening in the world and how we're not getting the truth.
I support the military. I support everything they do. But I don't think that they can be a 911 force for every country in the world.
Everybody else can protect their borders of people, you know, coming across except for us. What? I don't get it.
I'm telling you, it's not working for me. I don't see it. I don't like it. And if I see a rat, I smell a rat, it's got to be a rat.
Well, you're my favorite program. I do keep the station KCAA all the time, and that's my favorite station.
This is HTOS.
It just it's disintegrated instantly.
Listen to the calls of those passengers on the planes.
Across the street from the towers. This is Tower. We have people trapped in the building on the first floor.
Think of the children on them told they were going to die. Think of the cruelty beyond our comprehension.
Tower 2 has had a major explosion and what appears to be a complete collapse surrounding the entire area.
As amongst the screams and the anguish of the innocent, those hijackers drove at full throttle planes laden with fuel into buildings where tens of thousands of people were.
It straightened itself out and dove to the other side and crashed right in. An explosion was so terrific it looked like it had dynamite in it.
It was the most awful thing I've ever seen.
They have no moral inhibition on the slaughter of the innocent. If they could have murdered not 7,000, but 70,000, does anyone doubt they would have done so and rejoiced in it?
Oh, another one just hit.
Bodies flying out of the sky and you can't do nothing about it. You tell me what you think.
So there is no compromise possible with such people. There's no meeting of minds, no point of understanding with such terror. Just a choice. Defeat it or be defeated by it. And defeat it we must.
This is HTOS right here on KCAA 1050 AM. I'm Howard Drescher, and to the left of me as he is each and every week, it's Nick Anthony. And Nick, 5 years ago, come this Monday, some of the screams, some of the phone calls, some of the last-minute scrambles, the world, at least in New York, starting off, was totally at a disarray.
Yeah. And it'll all be remembered on this weekend. Everyone's starting the remembrance ceremonies. President Bush is going to have a live address on primetime TV on Monday. He's going to come on and talk a little bit about it. And everyone's just going to sit back and remember. It's a time for remembrance. They're even trying to get a day of remembrance every year for the 9/11 tragedy that's happened to this country.
And I don't see a problem with that. We in America should not forget that we were attacked, whether internally or externally. And I say internally as a lot of conspiracy theories that our government was behind it. Externally, was it done by them alone? Either way, that day, September 11th, you should never forget. And we always talk about not forgetting what happened on that day. Not forgetting about where you were when you actually saw it.
Yeah.
Or when you first learned of what happened on that day. I know exactly where I was at. I was sleeping and my wife woke me up.
Yeah, I was asleep as well. Someone woke me
and
up.
She goes, hey, a pilot just ran into that building.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, and I looked up, and I'm half asleep, and I go, wow, that's the World Trade Center.
Mm-hmm.
I said, something must have been wrong with that plane.
Yeah.
And I just laid there for a few minutes, and I kind of drifted back to sleep because I figured it must have been a mechanical error.
Mm-hmm.
The pilot, something must have happened wrong with the plane. And while she was still getting ready for work, a few minutes later, again, she's like, hey, another one happened. I kind of sprung up, and I go, something's not right. We are in trouble.
Yeah.
From that point on, it was all go. Non-stop looking at the TV.
Yeah, I can remember I got a call from my cousin, who always gets up earlier than the sun. And he calls me and says, hey, wake up. A plane just hit into one of the towers in New York. I'm like, yeah, okay. Yeah, went back to sleep. And then I get another call, another one. I'm like, same as you. We're in trouble. Something's going wrong here. And then I see days later that President Bush is talking to some kids at some elementary school. I'm like, what is going on here? We've got planes going into our towers, and this man is reading story time to a bunch of elementary kids.
And that's true. That's true. Today, have your fingers on the dial button there. Our phone number, 909-888-5222, 909-888-5222. You know Nick as much as everyone else. For weeks building up to this day, from when it first happened to now, there's always been some kind of remembrance or reminder of what's going on about the whole situation. But every now and then, you find a group of people or some people that will go ahead and put something good together to try to help to heal people. And today, we got a very special guest coming on the air in the next few minutes. And it's a very good thing what she's got going. We're looking at the World Trade Center tribute. It's a tribute center.
I didn't know that family members and co-workers of the victims were actually giving these tours out.
Yeah.
I thought it was just volunteers from Joe Schmo from down the street, but actually these are
and she's going to cover all that.
I didn't know,
but you know what? I didn't know about it either, and what we're going to find out more. Obviously, when we get back, of course, we want to give out our phone numbers and our email address and stuff like that, because today we want to read people's emails if they send it to us about where they were, or they can call in and tell us about where they were when they heard that, or heard of it.
Every show is going to do that, where you were. I want to know. Yeah. I want to know something else. I want to know, how do you feel? Do you think that we are any safer? Keep in mind that some people may think that our government had a major part in this. I just looked at the San Bernardino Sun newspaper today, and I see a guy, Los Angeles police officer from the airport, with a rifle in his hand, walking in the damn airport. So I want to know from you guys, do you guys think we're any safer? Are you going along with President Bush and how his Patriot Act type feel for our government is going? He wants us to scare us all. Do you think he's just trying to scare us all into depending more on the government? You think he's trying to scare us all into some what's it called? Some type of military strategy where we have Army personnel walking the streets.
Into martial law.
Martial law, exactly.
Where we're broke down. Where we got curfews. You got to be off the streets by like 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
You can't go to work.
That's what they had in Iraq for a while, didn't they?
Yeah.
That's how I think that's how we're heading down the road. And that's what I want to know from you people. 888-5222. 888 is 5222. That's the number to reach HTOS, Nick, and myself. When we come back, we're going to have this volunteer coordinator on from the World Trade Center Tribute Center, where actual family members, co-workers of the victims of the World Trade Center are actually giving tours. 888-5222, 888-5222. Also, you can email us at htosradio@hotmail.com, or simply go to the KCAA webpage. Right there on the right-hand side, it says View Entries. Above that, it says Sign On. Give us an email that way. This is a show that reads your emails live toward the end of the show every week. HTOS on KCAA AM 1050. We'll be right back with our guest.
The verdict is in. Passive air purifiers are ineffective. Hi, Scott Ritzema here for Eden Purity Systems. According to the EPA, indoor air is several times more polluted than outdoor air. Germs, dust, allergens, chemicals, mold, you name it. Well, our active home air purifier employs NASA technology that duplicates nature's own air cleaning methods to purify the air in your entire home, up to 3,000 square feet. Just one bookshelf speaker-sized unit per home, not one per room. With the threat of bird flu on the horizon, know that either you buy an air purifier or you are the air purifier. Our Made in America air purifier has been featured on Dateline and Oprah, and its effectiveness has been confirmed by peer-reviewed studies. Now, have you ever heard of a company returning to you almost half the purchase price in free gifts? This is the limited time offer from Eden Purity Systems. So call today for a free DVD and information about receiving half the purchase price back in free gifts. Call 1-866-359-0969. 1-866-359-0969. 1-866-359-0969.
Listen to this.
Hey, it's the thought that counts, right?
Maybe.
You know AIS.
From Walt Disney Home Video.
Swiss America has built a solid reputation.
Buy one day, get a year free at Universal Studios.
These voices and more are available at rightafterthis.com.
It's the show that speaks the way I can figure out turning it on.
This kind of music and jingle production is available at rightafterthis.com. And whatever else you need to sound good, from phone-on-hold messaging to infomercials to national award-winning copywriting to hot radio commercial production. In our state-of-the-art sound laboratories, we bring new audio into the world, and then we spank it. Broadcast studio facilities available in the Media District, North Hollywood, California. So, do what HTOS did and check out rightafterthis.com. www.rightafterthis.com.
I just want to say this is a wonderful thing, what you're doing, you know? So the public can pick up on what's happening, like, you know?
You can email HTOS at htosradio@hotmail.com.
HTOS Radio on KCAA AM 1050, the station that leaves no listener behind. Nick Anthony, Howard Dresser, 888-5222, 888-5222. We're talking about the World Trade Center, the 5th year anniversary of 9/11. And on the phone right now, we have the volunteer coordinator of the World Trade Center Tribute Center, Rachel Gregorsiewicz. She's been the volunteer coordinator for the past year. They started the tours on a limited basis back in September of 2005, and they've been going strong ever since. I'm going to ask her, because I didn't know that actual family members and co-workers of the victims of the Twin Towers.
Exactly. It was very interesting in talking with her. Rachel, welcome to the show.
Thank you. How are you?
We're doing fine, and how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well.
Okay, and hopefully everything works out really well. I know that you're going to be awful busy in the next couple of days.
Yes.
And just basically right from the get-go, I know that you're the volunteer coordinator. Can you give us an outline for the people out here on the West Coast? Can you give us an outline of what the center is, how it was founded?
The center itself, and the whole idea of the Tribute Center and the Walking Tour program was started by the September 11th Families Association, which is a nonprofit organization that was used as a communication tool right after September 11th, 2001. And the idea of the Tribute Center came out of Lee Ielpe, who was a retired firefighter who lost his son on that day.
Oh,
and the idea was to have an interim visitor center to educate the thousands of visitors to the World Trade Center every year. I mean, it's just amazing how many people come down here to look at what was there before.
And now we're not actually taking the tour where the trade centers, the building stood. We're around it and a timeline. Is that kind of leading up to?
Well, the World Trade Center was actually a complex made of 7 buildings. It was not only the 2 twin towers, and that's a misconception that a lot of people not from New York have. It was actually made up of 7 buildings in a 16-acre site.
Oh, I see.
And the site is called the Bathtub, that actually goes 70 feet below grade. And that whole area is fenced off, and it's actually owned by an organization called the Port Authority. And no one is really allowed inside the bathtub for obvious reasons.
Right.
But our tour actually takes you all around the site, the 16 acres. And as you go along, you're listening to these stories from family members or survivors or residents who lost their home. Lower Manhattan is known as the financial district of New York, but there's actually about 30,000 people that live down there who lost their home for over a year. So I have volunteers that talk about that experience. They talk about their survivor experience, or a family member, obviously, as well as the firefighters who responded that day and who helped with the recovery effort 9 months after the attack.
So basically, it's a tribute, obviously a tribute center. So do you have photos of the people that, and photos of the action that happened that day? Kind of, and it's kind of weird to say, but is it kind of like, in a sense of a museum where they have paintings in there and you walk through and kind of tell a little story about each caption?
The Tribute Center itself is made up of 5 galleries. The first gallery is a dedication of the World Trade Center before September 11th. So there's actually a model of the whole complex that rises about 8 feet.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And we have a video in there that talks a lot about the workers and the community of the World Trade Center, and that's Gallery 1. Gallery 2 is made up of something called fins, because they're like fins of a fish,
right.
And they're different parts of the timeline of the day, and those have photographs of the building. There are some not too graphic photographs, but it does go through the timeline of the day, and it starts with the first attack on the World Trade Center in 1993.
Oh, okay. So you went a little back in history.
Yes, and it also includes what happened in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, of course, and also what happened in the Pentagon. Gallery 3 is our Rescue and Recovery Gallery, which also has a video of describing the 9 months after the attack and what the firefighters and the iron workers and the police officers and all the first responders had to do after, and it talks about their experience. There's also a super graphic imposed on the walls that shows kind of what the recovery workers called the pile, what that looked like. And the fourth gallery is our tribute gallery to the victims of 9/11, and that is over the past, I would say, 6 months, the Tribute Center has gotten photographs and objects and just mementos from family who we put up for the public to see, and it's just this incredible room of all of these smiling, happy people who died on that day. The fifth gallery is our gallery in the basement, which is called Voices of Promise, and that gallery is dedicated a lot to what the Tribute Center is all about, and the volunteers and the response and the education part of it, and it's just a really amazing space.
And so we're talking with Rachel right now, and she's a volunteer coordinator at the Tribute Center in the World Trade Center, where I don't want to say in the World Trade Center, but it's a tour of the timeline and around the World Trade Center. And I say, for if there's people that are out here right now and they're planning on taking a trip back to the East Coast, and they're going to stop in New York, and that they want to go ahead and visit this place, how would one end up going to do that? I mean, do they just go right up there, or is the best way to make reservations? And
the Tribute Center itself is located on the southwestern side of the site. It's on 120 Liberty Street, on the corner of Liberty and Church Street. It's actually right next to a firehouse. And there's no admission to go into the Tribute Center.
Oh, okay.
So a visitor to New York could simply just come down and visit. We're actually open to the public on September 18th.
Okay, so it's not. So yeah, right now the tours have been just basically of what?
Well, the tours have been going on for the past year, as the Tribute Center itself has been under construction, and as I was training and working with more and more volunteers, we were increasing the number of tours that we were doing, and people just kind of found out about us. As I said before, we have, thousands of visitors to the World Trade Center site, and, they come and they would see these tours going on, and they would join. Or we work with telecharge.com, and you can make reservations for the tours ahead of time.
Now, is there obviously you mentioned www.telecharge.com. Now,
Correct.
Do they have is there like a full website of maybe this item, or the little couple of scenes?
Telecharge.com is kind of like Ticketmaster. If you are interested in signing up for a tour, you would simply go to the website and then click on Other Events, and then you would scroll down, and Tribute Center walking tours are listed on that list. And we have tours that leave at 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. Monday through Friday, and 12 noon, 1 p.m., 2 p.m., and 3 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday.
And roughly how long are these tours last?
They're about an hour and 15 minutes.
So, well, I mean, yeah, I guess if you're not paying, it really doesn't make a difference, but you want to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to see everything that they can. And I know myself, I think this is a wonderful thing you're doing. Now, how much response from, and Nick brought this out earlier, that you have the victims, the volunteers, some of the survivors doing this. Mm-hmm. Is this a strong way for them to heal?
Absolutely. They find this healing in that they get to talk about their experience and what they went through. They get to talk about this on a daily basis. Or, obviously volunteers don't do this every day, but I have volunteers that do this once a week, sometimes twice a month, 3 times a month, and they're able to talk to visitors about their experience, whether they're able to talk about their loved one who died. They're able to talk about this horrible thing that happened to them, and in doing that, and in helping the public understand what was there and what happened, they do find it very healing. They also find it very healing in having this group of individuals is a very strong community. The relationships that I've seen blossom and the friendships that they've just made, it's been really wonderful to be a part of that.
I understand that. I know New Yorkers myself because I grew up in upstate New York, and I do have family members, but it's been like ages since I've been, and they're mostly in the Brooklyn and Bronx area, so I'm not really familiar with any of the latest changes and all that stuff there. In this right here, I know that all New Yorkers, they kind of really stick together and all this. And I think with the healing with what's going on with the survivors and family members, do you find anyone really wanting just to kind of just leave and get away, and just say enough is enough of it? I got to get away.
You know what? I'm sure there are a lot of people that feel that way, but for the purposes of our program and for Tribute, I get the people that are needing something like this, that want to be involved in something like this. As I said, the Tribute Center is a program of the September 11th Families Association, and they were a big part of sending us their pictures and sending us the mementos, and my volunteer program is totally drawn from this 9/11 community, what we call the 9/11 community. And these people are really in need of just kind of connecting with each other and with visitors.
Now, let me ask you this, because on Monday obviously is the actual day of the 5th year of the anniversary. What do you guys have planned? Or do you have anything special planned?
Because of this, for security purposes, on September 11th, we're not able to have walking tours. They cut off a lot of the streets.
Okay.
And there is a very large ceremony. The Tribute Center itself will be open to family members of victims. We're not open to the public yet, but we will be open only to family that day.
And you're going to be opening it up to the public on the 18th.
Correct.
And I just want to say thank you for coming on the air with us, Rachel. I think that this is a wonderful, wonderful thing that you're doing. And if there's anything that we out here can do, please, one, don't hesitate to call. And if you can go ahead and give out a phone number to the Volunteer Coordination Center, to the Tribute Center, that way people here might want to call. If people want to donate anything, is there a way to contact you then?
Sure. If they're interested in learning more, they can go to our website at www.tributewtc.org, and they can call 212-422-3520.
Okay. Can I get the website one more time?
Sure. It's www.tributewtc.org.
Rachel, I want to thank you for coming on the air with us. It's been a pleasure. And,
thank you.
And hopefully everything works out, and hopefully that you have really just a success at this, as much as I hate to say that, because you don't want to have success on some kind of disaster that happened.
Right, right.
But to you and all your volunteers, I want to thank you for coming on the air.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, and have a great day.
You too.
Well, Nick, there you go. I mean, this is one side of the positive of the healing. We hear about all the time of the disaster, of all the bloodshed, of all the scams that they had, with people trying to send money. People fraudulently tried to say that so-and-so in their family died to collect money. Here we have somebody doing something positive.
888-5222, 888-5222. Also our email address, HTOSradio@hotmail.com. We'll be back.
Honey, what's been bothering you these last few weeks?
Oh, nothing. Well, that's not true. It's the move. After all, we're selling our home, buying another. I don't know what to do first.
I see. Well, so it's not me. That's good.
How come you're not stressing out? You always stress out.
Well, I contacted Kim Reese at First Team Real Estate. She's the one realtor that answered all my questions. Buying and selling. She builds a trust and rapport, and she's a financial planner that'll help us as we get older.
You did that for us?
Well, yeah. I went to her website, firstteam.com/Kim Reese. Reese. And then I called her at 951-532-4595. I gave her our situation, and Kim said, relax, leave everything to her.
So where is Kim Reese located? And her number again? I have a few questions, too.
She's at 3739 Adams Street, Suite 100 in Riverside, 92504. To reach her by phone, it's 951-532-4595. That's 3739 Adams Street, Suite 100, Riverside, 92504. Or to reach her on the phone, it's 951-532-4595.
Let's call Kim Reese. So do just like us. Take the stress out of buying a new home and selling your old one. And contact Kim Reese from First Team Real Estate at 951-532-4595 or online at firstteam.com/Kim Reese. You can email Kim at kimreese@firstteam.com. And don't stress out like my husband did.
I'm a woman, and I care what I look like. Now, when I look in the mirror, I just don't like what I see. It seems like I have to fight to keep the weight off. And when my husband looks at other women, it makes me crazy. I want him to look at me that way. Is it hopeless? Sometimes I feel like giving up.
Judy Singer's Meta System can help you lose the weight you want and increase energy. Our balanced program focuses on teaching you healthy eating, getting your body moving, and motivating your mind to reach your goals. And our counselors are available by phone 7 days per week.
I'm Judy Singer, and I've been helping people just like you achieve their weight loss and health goals for over 20 years.
Our products and programs are customized specifically for you with an all-natural approach. Call now for a free 3-day supply. 800-711-JUDY. 800-711-5839. That's 800-711-JUDY.
The new school year is a good time to remember that it takes commitment from all of us, especially families and teachers, to help kids achieve their dreams. Here's what parents and kids have to say.
We definitely need to have a team. It has to be the family, the student, and the teacher.
I have a really good teacher.
All the teachers want is a willing student so that they can do what they love to do, which is to teach.
Their job is one of the most important jobs in the whole world.
Equally as important to the police or fire. It saves their lives, but in a different way.
They are the ones our children will remember.
It makes me feel special and glad that I have a teacher like that.
Thank you, because my 2 daughters have had the most wonderful teachers.
When I grow up, I'd like to be an architect.
I wanted to be in the Navy, a marine biologist, a radio personality,
professional baseball player.
I want to be a teacher.
For tips on how to help your child succeed in school, ask a teacher. This back-to-school reminder was brought to you by the California Teachers Association, because every child deserves a chance to learn, and no child succeeds alone.
Find out what HTOS is up to at HTOSradioshow.com.
And now, the President of the United States.
Thank you very much. I'm honored to address all of you as you gather to remember the events of September the 11th and to honor the victims and the heroes. We still remember where we were when we first saw the images of the terrorist attacks. We remember how we felt that day, our sadness, the surge of love for our country, and our determination to right this huge wrong. America went from a feeling of security to one of vulnerability, from peace to war, from a time of calm to a great and noble cause. We were called to defend liberty against tyranny and terror, and we have answered that call. We will bring security to our people and justice to our enemies. In the past 12 months, we have seen the true character of our country. We have learned of firefighters who wrote their Social Security numbers on their arms with felt-tip pens to mark and identify their bodies, and then rushed into burning buildings. We have learned of the desperate courage of passengers on Flight 93, average citizens who led the first counterattack in the war on terror. We watched the searchers, month after month, fulfill their duty, and New Yorkers line the streets to cheer them on their way to work each morning. And in these events, we were reminded that the achievements that last and count in life come through service to others. Many ask, what can I do to help in our fight? And the answer is simple. All of us can become a September the 11th volunteer by making a commitment to service in our own communities. You can serve your country by tutoring or mentoring a child, comforting the afflicted, housing those in need of shelter. Whatever your talent, whatever your background, each of you can do something. America needs more than voters and taxpayers. America needs full-time citizens. America needs men and women who respond to the call of duty, who stand up for the weak, who speak up for their beliefs, who sacrifice for a greater good. We are commanded by God and called by our conscience to love others as we would want to be loved ourselves. Let us continue to answer that call every day we are given. As Americans, this is the way we will move forward, conscious of what we have suffered, confident in who we are, and certain we will prevail. May we never forget those who died on September the 11th, and may God bless America.
Once upon a time in America, the land of opportunity, a group of foreign guys at a Florida strip club said, "Let's get Korans and box cutters and hijack airplanes and crash them into the skyscrapers." So they did it. They bought flight manuals and lap dances, Korans and double martinis. They took flight lessons and bad photos. But most of all, they flew badly and partied and flunked flight school. "But how will they deceive NORAD?" said one flunky. "And how will we get past airport security?" asked another. "And how many millions should we invest in put options?" said a third. They discovered that NORAD and the Pentagon would be having some military exercises on the exact same day they chose their mission. Although several top U.S. officials knew in advance not to fly that day, nobody warned any average citizen. Next, the G-string jihadists outwitted the FBI. They outfoxed the Bureau's top officials by blatantly exposing their plans to FBI field agents months in advance. The plotters seemed to know that the FBI head honchos would never believe their most patriotic field agents. Instead, they would harass these agents long after the plot unfolded. Next, the 19 outlined their plan. "Well, we'll get past Israeli security at Logan Airport in Boston by posing as Arab terrorists. We won't even check in or show proper credentials. We'll just go right on through like ghosts." And so they did. But one big problem vexed them greatly. How exactly would steel skyscrapers, 7 of them, fall down once 2 aluminum airplanes hit them? So they went bowling and decided that the 2 airplanes would be like the bowling balls, and the World Trade Center buildings would be like the pins. Still, they wondered how to make these massive towers built with an enormous inner core to withstand 180 miles per hour hurricanes, engineered to survive the impact of a jumbo jet, actually fall down. So the 19 flight school dropouts put their minds together and thought. The Newtonian laws of gravity and physics and the long history of burning steel skyscrapers, none had ever fallen down before or since, seemed to be against them now. "What if we make the Twin Towers pancake down?" said one flunky. With a face full of buttermilk hot cake, the plotters were all eating a pre-dawn breakfast special with their bleary-eyed lamp dancers. A group of Iraqi undercover agents, Saddam's finest, had joined them, savoring a short stack of blueberry pancakes, and so the laws of physics and logic waffled that day. "We can also knock down the CIA headquarters in New York City, demolish the mayor's command post, and wreck the SEC Records building while we're at it, crushing the entire building while smacking the structure with a few objects the size of an I-beam," said one bright plotter, remembering his put options. And so they did. The mighty Pentagon was next to fall. A fortress guarded by many layers of security, the trillion-dollar war toy shopping mall seemed impenetrable, but not to the 19 G-string jihadists. They had discovered by trial and error that it was much easier to fly a hijacked jumbo jet with screaming passengers than to control a small Cessna with a calm instructor beside them. They flew those jumbo jets like Blue Angels, except better, pulling 10 Gs before leveling off and smacking the Pentagon exactly where it had been recently remodeled. But unfortunately for the G-string jihadists, the Pentagon bigwigs knew months in advance. The Pentagonios even published a report with the hijacked plane exactly in the center. They knew the hijackers could never score a bullseye, and they were right. The flight school dropouts only hit the edge. But by outflanking, outfighting, and outthinking the combined resources of the Pentagon, CIA, NSA, and FBI, the flight school dropouts had succeeded. Sure, they never received their certification in small planes, but they had outfoxed NORAD, Israeli security, and the combined resources of the U.S. Air Force and the airspace over America. And even more amazing, the 19 strip club aficionados had engineered their own deaths to look like deaths. Nearly half of them were still alive the next day. Call it a modern Mission Impossible. 19 flight school dropouts who couldn't control a Cessna had destroyed 7 heavily insured steel skyscrapers and the recently remodeled wing of the Pentagon, while outwitting airport security, smashing CIA and SEC's headquarters, and a 47-story New York skyscraper they hadn't even hit, while devising a brand new scientific pancake theory, all while remaining alive and forcing the entire U.S. population to live in terror, utterly taxed for the unforeseeable future, to pay for the trillions in new war toys and security measures in a fruitless manhunt to find the alleged mastermind. In conclusion, the 19 box cutter boys were either the ultimate fighting champions or the above account remains in modern fairy tale, fabricated by the very same people who placed those put options and demolition charges continue to profit today. USAF veteran amateur historian Douglas Herman wrote this. This controversial author of The Guns of Dallas receives mail at douglasherman7@yahoo.com. He wrote this as a way to remember 9/11, just a background of what happened. Again, that was by Douglas Herman. You can reach him at douglasherman7@yahoo.com. This is HTOS on KCAA AM 1050, the station that leaves no listener behind. We'll be right back.
The verdict is in. Passive air purifiers are ineffective. Hi, Scott Ritzema here for Eden Purity Systems. According to the EPA, indoor air is several times more polluted than outdoor air. Germs, dust, allergens, chemicals, mold, you name it. Well, our active home air purifier employs NASA technology that duplicates nature's own air cleaning methods to purify the air in your entire home, up to 3,000 square feet. Just one bookshelf speaker-sized unit per home, not one per room. With the threat of bird flu on the horizon, know that either you buy an air purifier or you are the air purifier. Our Made in America air purifier has been featured on Dateline and Oprah, and its effectiveness has been confirmed by peer-reviewed studies. Now, have you ever heard of a company returning to you almost half the purchase price in free gifts? This is the limited time offer from Eden Purity Systems. So call today for a free DVD and information about receiving half the purchase price back in free gifts. Call 1-866-359-0969, 1-866-359-0969, 1-866-359-0969.
Honey, what's been bothering you these last few weeks?
Oh, nothing. Well, that's not true. It's the move. After all, we're selling our home, buying another. I don't know what to do first.
I see. Well, so it's not me.
That's good.
How come you're not stressing out? You always stress out.
Well, I contacted Kim Reese at First Team Real Estate. She's the one realtor that answered all my questions. Buying and selling. She builds a trust and rapport, and she's a financial planner that'll help us as we get older.
You did that for us?
Well, yeah. I went to her website, firstteam.com/Kim Reese. And then I called her at 951-532-4595. I gave her our situation, and Kim said, relax, leave everything to her.
So where is Kim Reese located? And her number again? I have a few questions, too.
She's at 3739 Adams Street, Suite 100 in Riverside, 92504. To reach her by phone, it's 951-532-4595. That's 3739 Adams Street, Suite 100, Riverside, 92504. Or to reach her on the phone, it's 951-532-4595.
Let's call Kim Reese. So do just like us. Take the stress out of buying a new home and selling your old one. And contact Kim Reese from First Team Real Estate at 951-532-4595 or online at firstteam.com/Kim Reese. You can email Kim at kimreese@firstteam.com. And don't stress out like my husband did.
The best way for kids to succeed is for parents and teachers to work together as a team.
I don't know how teachers do their job without a team of the parent and the teacher and the child.
It is a partnership, definitely, where you work together.
My teacher has inspired me a lot.
The new school year is time to remember it takes families, teachers, and students working together to ensure a child's success. Here's what parents and kids have to say.
If my mom and my teacher are a team, well then they can make me a better student.
We are very fortunate to have very dedicated teachers.
They can make learning a lot more fun.
Very committed, very skilled. It's a tough job.
I also think it's difficult with 36 kids. It spreads the teacher too thin.
We definitely need to have a team. It has to be the family, the student, and the teacher.
As the new school year begins, we all need to work together for the kids. This message was brought to you by the California Teachers Association, because every child deserves a chance to learn, and no child succeeds alone.
Visit HTOS at HTOSradioshow.com.
I don't need to be anything other than a prison guard son.
888-5222, 888-5222, HTOS on KCAA AM 1050, the station that leaves no listener behind. 5th year anniversary of 9/11's coming up here on Monday. Everyone's remember, even President Bush is going to come out. Bush plans his primetime September 11 address.
Yep.
From the Oval Office on Monday to mark the 5th anniversary. White House Press Secretary Tony Snow said the administration had requested network time, so that's all on the major networks.
So that's all over all the networks and stuff.
Yeah, the speech, they said it would be about 16 to 18 minutes long.
Well, I know what it says here, 16 to 18 minutes long, but in the last soundbite that I played, that's basically what he's going to say.
Yeah, you know what he's going to say.
He's going to say the same thing. And that was
but
very important to stay on the attack.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's going to do.
We need to stay on the attack of people. We need to, it's all about the terror. But we talked about this before. It's the same speech no matter what he gives, and no matter what venue he goes, wherever he goes, and decides he's going to say something. It's the same thing.
Yeah, he's going to try to push the continued war on terrorists, or the spreading of democracy, I call it. The speech will come after Bush visits each of the attack sites in New York, Shanksville, and the Pentagon, where terrorists, hijackers used commercial airliners as weapons to kill nearly 3,000 people. Snow also said that Bush's address would not be a political speech, he says, or a charge to Congress for action.
Well, you know what? I'm sorry to say, any time that the president asks for a major network time, it's politically driven.
Yeah.
Even if he's just there to say, hey, I am here as the commander-in-chief, I am behind, I'm leading the charge, fall behind me, I'll go ahead and ensure that everything gets taken care of. That's what I'm about.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't make a difference. It may not seem to him, or Tony Snow may toss it that it's not political, but it is. Anytime that he's cracking the mic and mentioning anything, it's politically driven, and he may not be directly asking the Congress for some kind of funds or some kind of aid, but indirectly, there's little key words that he says. Like, we need the right tools to continue on with our war on terror. It would be fruitless to bring our troops home. All this are the key little phrases that he throws that not that many people know, but our Congress and our Senate, they know. When they hear those little words, the president's throwing little daggers at them. Yeah, give me the money. This is what I want. This is what I need. We're going to make it happen.
Yeah. I mean, everyone knows. There's no way to hide it, President Bush. It's no way to hide it. Everybody knows what you're going to do when you come on. You're going to say, oh, this is a time to remember the victims of 9/11, but you're going to put your spin on it, and you're going to go after the people who are against your war in Iraq. This is your time to go after the people who say we should get our soldiers out. You're going to say we have to keep on the same path. That's what you're going to say. We need to stick on the same path. We can't bow down to the opposition. We can't bow down to these terrorists. We have to keep fighting. We have to keep going after these guys. That's what you're going to say. Don't try to sugarcoat me and tell me it's about the remembrance of 9/11. Don't try to sugarcoat it and tell me that you're in remembrance of this when, in fact, I believe that you had something to do with it. Don't try to sugarcoat me, President Bush.
And, of course...
I'm not falling for it.
And, of course, Tony Snow's going to put his own spin on it because that's what he's supposed to do. So, he just got that job, so I'll give him, okay, you did a good job trying to sugarcoat it. But everyone knows what's going on. And it's... Mark my words, and mark Nick's words right now. Everything that we've just said, guarantee you're going to hear it come Monday night if you listen to the radio or you see it on TV. And if he doesn't say anything in regards of the opposition, the war on terror, we need to stay on the front lines and drudge forward, call our show next week and tell us, hey, you know what, you guys were wrong, and it was all about the remembrance. Hey, you know what, we'll stand up. But right now, I'd say we're 5 for 5 in everything that we predicted what this guy's going to do. He's done it.
Yeah, it's going to come through.
And, all these things turn around and end up biting him one way or the other, and it's just unfortunate. So this here...
President Bush...
I already played the soundbite that the president's going to say. I've already played it. You know what? It's amazing.
He's just a failure. I don't even... What a person.
It's the same old
Did you know that you can type... If you go to Google and you type in George W. Bush, his name...
Yeah.
Go to Google right now and type George W. Bush. The first thing you'll get on the Google search engine is failure.
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
Oh, jeez.
Do it when we go on a break.
Well, we're going to do it on a break.
Go ahead.
All right. Okay. I got one more sound bite here. In the next hour, we're going to get back to our kind of normal show. Again, 9/11. This next sound bite, everyone, 2 major events that in my life that happened. Okay. 246 Marines were killed in Beirut, again, by terrorists bombing the barracks that the Marines were sleeping in. And, of course, the 9/11. So, therefore, you're going to have 2 different sound bites here going.
I love you. I'm in the World Trade Center. The building was hit by something. I don't know if I'm going to get out, but I love you very much. I hope I'll see you later. Bye.
Yesterday's acts of terrorism, which killed so many young American and French servicemen, were a horrifying reminder of the type of enemy that we face in many critical areas of the world today. Vicious, cowardly, and ruthless.
He just said, I want to let you all know that I love you very, very much in case I don't see you again. That the plane has been taken over by hijackers. And then I said, well, we love you very much too, Mark.
We must not allow international criminals and thugs such as these to undermine the peace. The struggle for peace is indivisible. We cannot pick and choose where we will support freedom. We can only determine how. If it's lost in one place, all of us lose.
I was talking to her, my cell phone to her cell phone. She was with other people. They were scared. You could hear people running around. There was pandemonium.
Chick was a Naval Academy graduate appointed by the President of the United States. Today was his birthday. He would have been 52 years old.
The United States will not be intimidated by terrorists.
Just pray for all the people that are hurting and all the families, and pray that our country will do something to stop this terrorist.
Every effort will be made to find the criminals responsible for this act of terrorism, so this despicable act will not go unpunished.
KCAA's Inland Talk Express. KCAA, Loma Linda, 1050 AM, the station that leaves no listener behind.
Marilyn's elderly father wanted to keep living at home.
He wanted to be as independent as he could be, and of course, like any kid, we were worried about him.
But he was beginning to have difficulty, and she lived too far away to help. The solution? Seniors Helping Seniors.
Seniors Helping Seniors. It was just a great and wonderful experience.
Seniors Helping Seniors employs carefully screened, mature caregivers with life experience and caring hearts, as exemplified by Marilyn's experience with her father's caregiver.
She was just fabulous. She did the laundry, she kept his house nice, and most important, she was very attentive to him. She was just a delightful woman.
If your senior parent needs help living at home, contact Seniors Helping Seniors. There's no minimum hour requirements or long-term contracts.
I have nothing but high praise for Seniors Helping Seniors. They were fabulous.
Call today, 800-288-5720. 800-288-5720.
When we think back to our childhood days, we remember the happy and the carefree times, and probably some sad times too. But one thing is certain, if you were lucky enough to have a treehouse to play in, you've got many happy childhood memories that'll stay with you forever. Regardless, now you're the parent, and you can build a treehouse for the children in your life. Build a treehouse, the gift your children will appreciate forever. For plans, go to treehouseplans.bigstep.com.
NBC News Talk Radio 1050 is proud to present The National Defense. Hosted by National Communications Director for the Veterans of Foreign Wars, Jerry Newberry, The National Defense keeps you up to date and in touch with all the news that Americans need to know. Each week, Jerry Newberry brings you in-depth interviews with military and national leaders, as well as all the top news stories affecting today's veterans and soldiers. That's The National Defense each Saturday afternoon at 4 on NBC News Talk Radio 1050 KCAA.
Tire failure due to tread separation causes vehicle rollovers and can result in catastrophic injury or death. If you or a family member or friend have been seriously injured in an accident caused by a defective tire, call us at 1-800-6-BARNS. The law offices of Carl Barnes specializes in representing people injured by dangerous tires that should not have been installed on their vehicles. We've recovered millions for our clients. That's 1-800-6-BARNES. Don't you dare touch that dial. AM 1050, KCAA. Nick.
And Howard, we need to talk. This is HTOS.
All right, 888-5222, HTOS on KCAA AM 1050, the station that leaves no listener behind. HTOS Radio at hotmail.com, HTOS Radio at hotmail.com. I'm Dick Howard. Have you seen the San Bernardino Sun front page today? Has anybody seen the San Bernardino Sun newspaper today? The front page. It says, "What have we lost?" And then it has this picture. If you're on the internet, I'm going to put this picture up to the camera right here so you can see it. You see that there? This is the San Bernardino Sun. It's a picture of Los Angeles airport police officer armed with a rifle who stands in the Bradley International Terminal at LAX. You see that right there? I'm holding it up to the camera. Log on the KCAA radio, and you can see it right there on the TV. This guy is standing at the Bradley International Terminal at LAX, holding a rifle. You ought to be going nuts right now after seeing this. I didn't know it was like this. I know. I heard.
Well, I have not attended any airports in the last couple of months.
I have,
and I don't think that. I don't remember this being like this. And could it be maybe just a little heightened security for the fact of what's coming up around the corner?
Well, no, Howard. I heard about the officers, airport security, and things like this making things tough.
Yeah.
You can't bring lotion and shampoo and things like that, and gels and liquids, water on plane. But I didn't know it was people walking around with rifles, shotguns and rifles and all these weaponry. I didn't know it was like this. Is like some third world country.
Well, the caption right underneath it talks about personal liberties, perhaps the greatest loss. And you kind of wonder what other kind of liberties and stuff that we might be losing here in the long run or down the road. And if you are traveling, even if you are traveling on or planning on traveling anywhere in the next couple of weeks or so, do you feel... would you feel intimidated by these guys here?
You darn right I would. You darn right I feel intimidated. This is like freaking being in some third world country. I have never seen this. And realize this, Howard.
Yeah,
I was driving down the 10 freeway or the 210. I don't know whatever the hell it was. But I was driving down, and I see a military vehicle driving down the street, down the freeway there. Have you ever seen this before? Have you ever seen a military?
Yes. I have many times. Now,
vehicle driving down the street.
Yes,
that scares
I have.
me.
Yes, I have. Well, now, what kind of vehicle was it? If
the government, if the Bush administration planned to scare me, they got me.
No. What you have to understand.
Look at this,
Nick. What you have to understand about that military vehicle. It may have been going. Was it a big truck?
No, I have never seen a military vehicle on the streets in my neighborhood until I was driving down the 210 or the 10 freeway, whatever it was.
Oh, then you're in for a treat. You're in for a treat because you're going to see a lot of them going back and forth. When the young men and women over here at Camp Pendleton, they go to 29 Palms.
Yeah.
For field training. That's the freeways that they take because that's the same ones I used to take when I used to go on out there.
Really?
Spent 3 months. So don't be alarmed by that vehicle there. But getting back to this photo.
Too late. I'm already alarmed.
Okay, but let's get back to this photo. Do you feel
look at the guy
any safer? Is there anyone here any safer? And by the way, that's an M16 with a scope on it.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
All right.
Do you, anyone feel any safer that One, that we're getting closer to the anniversary here come Monday, and is this maybe just a little bit of heightened security? Is this a little bit of overkill? Or is this some protected measure that you feel that's warranted? We'll take your phone calls, 909-888-5222, 909-888-5222.
Look at the guys in the background there, Howard. They seem like they're just going about their everyday business. They're not worried that this guy has a, what is it? What'd you say, M16?
It's an M16. This guy's but see, the thing is that maybe they feel comfortable with knowing that he's there and that old Ahmed is not coming through when they see him.
How can you feel comfortable with this guy with an M16 and then on his leg there's another piece?
That's a pistol. That's a pistol strapped to his leg.
I'm putting it up to the camera again.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen the San Bernardino Sun paper today, get it. You need to get the San Bernardino Sun today, and I'm not pushing the paper because I personally don't care. Pick up the paper, the Sun paper, and it says, "What have we lost?" And it has a guy. What Howard says is an M16. I have no idea if it's an M60 or not, but Howard would. He was in the military. Has an M16 at his waist there, and then on his pants leg, he has another pistol. And then the people in the background are just going about their everyday business, getting their tickets, logging, checking in, and things like that. It looks like they're getting their bag searched or something right there. And everybody doesn't seem the wiser of this guy. Nobody's paying attention to him or anything. This scares me. I didn't know it was like this.
This is HTOS right here on KCAA 1050 AM. What we're talking about right now is have we lost? Have we lost it? And personal liberties may be the greatest loss that we're facing right now. If you go online, or if you went ahead and checked out the Sun newspaper,
it's today's paper.
Today's paper, you'll see a nice caption with an officer with a weapon.
There it is. I'm holding it up.
And as Nick's holding it up, we'll take your phone calls, 909-888-5222. Tony's out there. Tony, how's everything going?
Going all right.
What's up, Tony?
Hey, you know what, Nick, if you were scared by what you saw going down the street,
you bet.
I got news for you.
What's up?
This is way back in 1996. I was going down Arrow Highway in Irwindale. You know where those big gravel pits are?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, my car starts shaking, and I'm thinking the transmission's going out.
Either that or your wheel alignment.
Yeah, and you know what it was?
What was it?
It was a whole big battalion of tanks.
See, okay, how can you justify tanks, Howard? You want to justify these other vehicles going down?
In what year?
This was 96.
Oh, that's a little before my time. I wasn't even in California.
Yeah, they were tanks, and they were coming out of somewhere out of Irwindale. And they used the 210 quite frequently for them trucks, you know, the military troop carriers going down.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where they're going, but I saw convoys of them, just like I saw them convoys of tanks.
Uh-huh.
And see, I think that, yes, we have lost our freedom, and I'm going to tell you how. When 9/11 happened, it grounded all flights, right?
Right.
Okay. But here's what they did. We have our own Air Force. And we were not in war yet, and we were not in other countries yet, right?
Right.
Well, they had NATO jets patrolling our skies.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah. That's true. That's true.
We needed somebody else's foreign troops to be patrolling our skies when we already had our own Air Force.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden you have cameras everywhere. Then you got people that are saying stupid statements like, well, you know, I got nothing to hide, so I don't care. You can go ahead and look in my mail and all that, and I don't care.
Howard was one of those guys who said that.
No.
Yeah, you did, Howard. Do not say you didn't.
I don't remember that statement.
You
said
it on the show, Howard.
I said I don't mind the fact that there's cameras and stuff there, but I don't want anybody going through my mail.
You said, I don't care if Bush wiretaps if you don't have anything to hide. You remember that. Don't say you didn't say that.
Yes, I did say that.
You know, you could do something that is not even terrorism related at all. You could be doing some research, and you have somebody that looks for a buzzword, and you know that you could be flagged.
Well, we know that because we talked about that young girl who went ahead and looked up the bridge, and all of a sudden the FBI went to her house.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. No, it's not acceptable because all of a sudden you become a suspect for no reason at all.
Yep.
Yeah, but once they found out it's a little girl doing her homework assignment, my gosh, I'm sure they must have let her go.
Yeah, but see, that was just a waste of time.
Yeah, it shouldn't have went that far in the first place.
See, this is what you need to do. You need to go online and type in, I'm an illegal alien, and then you'll get the cops coming to your house. All this stuff will be taken care of.
Well, Well, yeah. Well, if they said that they're a legal alien, they'd, here, you want this information on how to do this?
Yeah, they'll pander to them.
They'll drop off a load of money.
Yeah, that's what they'll
do. So, that's just what I'm just trying to say is that, Nick, you had the balls to say what you read earlier. That is bravo.
Thank you, man.
Because, for one, people need to realize something, that, the Islamic people are very strict as far as drinking is concerned. And looking at, that nudity and all this other kind of stuff. So to think that they're going to get ready and go meet that maker that they call with an A,
yeah,
that they're going to be at a strip club and drinking, that was already a lie.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're not going to do nothing like that because they're too busy trying to be in there doing their repetitious prayers and all this other kind of stuff.
Every time they pray.
Yeah,
they're praying and they're sitting solace and all this other kind of stuff and everything like that, and they may be eating a bacon sandwich before they get ready to do it. Just playing.
Thanks a lot, Tony.
All right.
Oh, God. Later. Him and his comedian. I tell you, this guy needs to go to the improv.
Have you seen the San Bernardino Sun newspaper today? That's what we're talking about. We're talking about the Sun. What have we lost? Personal liberties is what people are saying perhaps is the greatest loss that we've lost. This whole 9/11 World Trade Center attack that we had 5 years ago, as we celebrate the anniversary of this coming up on Monday. This guy is in Bradley Terminal at LAX with, how it says, M16, and the people in the background there are just, seems like none the wiser, don't care.
I'm sure that they walked by and looked at him. You know what? They see him as a cop,
and they just go about their business. They should be saying something. They should be up in arms. They should be contacting somebody. Yet they're just going about their everyday business.
Let me ask you this, Nick, and now
we should be concerned.
I'm going to play devil advocate here because you called me out on the carpet already today. Right. So I'm gonna step off that white carpet and get on the red carpet here.
Go ahead.
If he wasn't there, and you were in the airport, going through like you normally would, and something happened, would you scream, well, where are they at? Where's the security at? Where's all this at?
Yeah, I would scream, where's the security at?
But to see him there...
I can protect myself, too.
You can't protect yourself.
You bet your ass I can protect myself.
If something's in the luggage, if there's a bomb or something in the luggage...
What the hell is this guy going to do if there's a bomb in the luggage, Howard?
Well, I don't know.
Exactly.
What if some little weapon-toting dude comes waving their weapon around in there? What are you going to do then?
I'm going to take him out.
How are you going to take him out?
Oh, I can take him out.
How are you going to take him out? I would have to say that if he's there, I don't see a problem. He's standing there minding his own business. He's not doing anything, and we'll take him. We'll take it like that. But if you see he's not there, something happens, then you go screaming. But if he's there, then you're screaming anyways. So you're screaming either way.
Yeah,
you're damned if you do, and then you're damned if you don't. You're kind of caught between a rock and a hard place. You can't have your cake and eat it too. So either one, you want tightened security, but you don't want to see him.
No,
it kind of reminds me of that A Few Good Men, where Jack Nicholson is being grilled by Tom Cruise, and he goes, You don't want to know what I do there. You don't want me there, but yet you still want me there because beneath it all, you go to parties and you do live your life, but you don't worry about what I do because I'm getting my job done. Mm-hmm. That's what it is. He's there. He's doing his job. But if he wasn't there and something happened, then you're screaming, "Oh my God, where they at?"
But we're losing our liberties, Howard. That's the bottom line. Seeing this guy walking around with a rifle in his hand, just waiting for somebody to get out of line. What's going to stop him from, getting some regular old American, some guy who's from down street Tokyo or little Tokyo in downtown LA or whatever they come from, and just walking down the street, and he thinks he's some terrorist or something, and he wants to take him out. Just because he looks a certain way.
I'm sure there's a little bit of protocol that has to be done. They just, look, he's got a rag on his head. Bam, you don't cap him. That ain't the way it is.
888, yeah, that you say that now. 888-5222, 888-5220, taking your calls. First family. Katrina, hello, Katrina.
Hi, Nick.
What's up?
How are you guys?
All right, how you doing, Katrina?
I'm fine. I just want to say that we've lost our rights every time we open a package up.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous now. It's gotten so bad.
Mm-hmm.
My mom has to take a pair of pliers, a screwdriver, and a wrench, and everything else
Yeah.
to open a package.
They package these things up so much now because they don't know if you're hiding anything in there. They want to keep everything secure.
Yeah, just open a CD, okay?
Yeah, it's
You
hard
can remove
to.
15 labels before you can even open the package.
Well, at least you know that CD's not going to explode.
Yeah. Well, we have to change our way of living.
Yeah, how come?
Yeah.
Have you had any terrorists bomb you?
Oh, I haven't, Katrina, but what I'm saying is we're going about this all the wrong way.
No, you are.
No, I've brought this up many
You
times.
and the government is.
I don't. No, would you listen to what I got to say?
I'm listening.
We're going about it all the wrong way because they're not gonna go ahead and do what I suggest. If you're an illegal and you don't belong here, you just don't look like you're an American, round them up and get them out of the country, and then we'll sift through and we'll decide if we can have you come back in. But no, that's profiling. That's doing this. That's doing that. Well, if
you don't think that these guys with the rifles in their hands are going to do some down the line some profiling, you don't think that they're going to do that?
Well, Nick, I know it's already happened. Look at what happened in Atlanta when they had that 97-year-old grandma
in a wheelchair.
It's already happening.
And they wanted her to stand up out of her wheelchair. Can you believe that, Howard?
Okay, well, those people were just morons.
What's going to stop this guy in this newspaper? I'm holding it up again. Go to KCAA, the internet TV, and you can see it. San Bernardino Sun newspaper. What's going to stop them from doing that, Howard?
Well,
we've lost total control of this government.
Well,
we the people should be burned because that's what it is now. That Constitution should be burned. Burn it up because we're not using it anymore. Well, just go ahead, burn it up. We're not using it.
Well, I know what you're saying, but we got to start somewhere. And what we need to do is, I would rather have these guys stand there and start looking. And I don't care the ACLU or anybody else. You target the people that we know that we need to target, and leave all the rest of the people alone.
But have they done that, Howard?
No, because they're stupid, because they can't follow their own orders, or probably that they're just sent out there with no orders to begin with. Think about that. He's doing what he's probably told to do, and what he's been told to do is probably nothing. Just stand there. His weapon may not even be freaking loaded, as far as I know. Katrina's gone. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We got to start somewhere, and where do we start? We've talked about it before. Are we going to chop the head off the snake? We're going to chop the tail? We're going to chop it in the middle? Where are we going to start? No matter what we do, somebody's going to freaking complain. And as long as they keep complaining, we're going to have a major problem. And as long as we have a major problem, we're not safe. We're not safe. But I would rather take my chances. I would rather take my chances with this armed guard than some lunatic out there who I don't know whether he's got matches in his shoe, whether he's got a suitcase full of bomb, whatever the case might be. But I know when I get on that plane, I want to make sure that there is no chance that whatever happened on September 11th will happen on the plane that I'm at. And it should never, ever, ever happen again. And that's what I'm talking about. Now, if I'm wrong, call me. Call me right now and tell me I'm wrong. But one way or the other, we need to go ahead and look at this, because we can't chop the snake in the middle. We've talked about this before, but one way or the other, we're going to have to do something. I don't know.
888-5222, 888-5222, taking your calls. Mike, Arrowhead. Hey, Mike.
Hi, thanks for reading that thing you read.
Oh, no problem, man.
That was very apropos.
Thanks.
I'd like to call some history into mind for you.
Okay, please do that.
Remember the Oklahoma City bombing?
Yes, I do.
Remember Clinton was talking about the hate groups, the militias, the citizen militias?
Yep.
Well, if my memory serves me correctly, what those militia groups were saying was that the government was going to create an incident to do away with our rights.
Well, they started that back in Waco. I mean, if you really think about it.
Do not get me started, please.
I mean, you called out a shot. I'm calling out another shot. That even happened before.
I agree. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying do not get me started on a sidetrack here.
Go ahead and say what you got to say.
I agree with you totally about Waco. But,
Waco was the first, and then, we can go farther back in history. I can go far as back as to the Kennedy assassination. If there was some kind of conspiracy going on, I would have to say something started there.
Exactly.
And is not that something that kind of turned the tide of the government?
Yep.
Look at Watergate.
Yeah.
You look at all this stuff.
But Clinton also said that the militia groups were also saying that the government would excuse me, I'm so excited.
It's okay. Take your time. Take your time, Mike.
That they would start an excuse to send our troops out of the country and bring foreign troops into the country.
Yeah.
Do you
I remember that, and it's already happening. We're the 911 force for everybody, and everyone else happens to be coming in all willy-nilly, bringing their suitcase and luggage and having a good old time.
Exactly.
Well, while they're having a good old time bringing their suitcase and luggage in, I don't know what's in their luggage. I'd rather have this man there.
No, see, you're Howard.
Because I don't know.
What are you talking about?
I don't know
Howard?
what the heck these morons are doing.
You want to see people with rifles on your corner right there in Temecula? Do you want to see these people on your corner?
No, I don't.
So what are you talking about? Why do you want to see them in your airport?
Well, they could just stay in the airport. That's what I'm saying.
What's next?
That's the port of entry. That is a port of entry.
What's next, Howard?
All right, what else you got, Mike?
You're such a moron.
And the militia groups who were saying over the radio, where they had access to the radio, that the government would also allow unimpeded illegal immigration into the country. Do you remember all those things being said by the militia groups?
Oh, yeah. I know. And they're all coming in. They're all just making their way, picking and choosing the city and the state they want to be in.
So my point is, who was lying, the militia groups or the government?
Well, I mean,
easy answer, right?
Yeah, I know the answer. You can't. It's like the scale is tipping, if you know what I'm saying, and it's tipped in the wrong direction.
Exactly.
It should be that our government should be working for us.
Now Bush is
right now we're working just to try to prevent more damage that our government's doing.
Yeah, like the NAFTA highway, the NAFTA freeway.
Oh, we talked about that, going all the way from Mexico all the way on up through the Kansas, all the way up into Canada, from Mexico all the way up through.
Oh, I was talking with a buddy of mine the other day about this very issue, about the uniting of Mexico, United States, and Canada. Yep. There's even a website.
Yep.
There's a website about it.
SPP.com.
Oh, you know it.
SPP.
We're gonna have a show. We're gonna have a show about that in the coming weeks.
Yep, we're gonna talk about that again. But I'll tell you, Mike, I don't know. Where do we go?
And what bothers me about it, it's a government website.
Yeah, exactly. So I just want to make another point then. Who is the greater threat to the security of the country? The militia groups, the citizens militia groups, or the government?
What was the question? I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
Who is the greater threat to the continuance of the United States?
Well, at this point in time, I'd have to say the government.
Yep.
I'm going to call it like it is. You look at the situation, what's going on. At least with the militia, they'll tell you straight up what's going on.
Can I give you a quote from George Washington?
Yeah.
He was talking about, this is in reference to governments.
Yep.
Governments in general. He said, government is not eloquence, it is force. Like fire, it is a dangerous servant and a fearful master. End quote.
And that's the truth. Well, thanks for your phone call, Mike, and you call back any time.
Yeah, I like your show. Boy.
Well, thank you very much, Mike, and enjoy Arrowhead. You're up there in the mountains, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't it kind of cold at night?
It's been getting colder at night, yeah.
Yeah, okay. That scares me. Yeah. All right.
Bye-bye.
All right, take care, Mike. He's right.
Yeah.
Who do you trust more? Would you trust them? At least the militia will tell you, we're going to do this. The government says this, and they do a 180. It doesn't make a difference. Either way, you're just screwed.
HTOS. We need to talk.
The verdict is in. Passive air purifiers are ineffective. Hi, Scott Ritzema here for Eden Purity Systems. According to the EPA, indoor air is several times more polluted than outdoor air. Germs, dust, allergens, chemicals, mold, you name it. Well, our active home air purifier employs NASA technology that duplicates nature's own air cleaning methods to purify the air in your entire home, up to 3,000 square feet. Just one bookshelf speaker-sized unit per home, not one per room. With the threat of bird flu on the horizon, know that either you buy an air purifier or you are the air purifier. Our Made in America air purifier has been featured on Dateline and Oprah, and its effectiveness has been confirmed by peer-reviewed studies. Now, have you ever heard of a company returning to you almost half the purchase price in free gifts? This is the limited time offer from Eden Purity Systems. So call today for a free DVD and information about receiving half the purchase price back in free gifts. Call 1-866-359-0969, 1-866-359-0969, 1-866-359-0969.
Honey, what's been bothering you these last few weeks?
Oh, nothing. Well, that's not true. It's the move. After all, we're selling our home, buying another. I don't know what to do first.
I see. Well, so it's not me.
That's good.
How come you're not stressing out? You always stress out.
Well, I contacted Kim Reese at First Team Real Estate. She's the one realtor that answered all my questions. Buying and selling. She builds a trust and rapport, and she's a financial planner that'll help us as we get older.
You did that for us?
Well, yeah. I went to her website, firstteam.com/Kim Reese. And then I called her at 951-532-4595. I gave her our situation, and Kim said, relax, leave everything to her.
So where is Kim Reese located? And her number again? I have a few questions, too.
She's at 3739 Adams Street, Suite 100 in Riverside, 92504. To reach her by phone, it's 951-532-4595. That's 3739 Adams Street, Suite 100, Riverside, 92504. Or to reach her on the phone, it's 951-532-4595.
Let's call Kim Reese. So do just like us. Take the stress out of buying a new home and selling your old one. And contact Kim Reese from First Team Real Estate at 951-532-4595 or online at firstteam.com/Kim Reese. You can email Kim at kimreese@firstteam.com. And don't stress out like my husband did.
I'm a woman, and I care what I look like. Now, when I look in the mirror, I just don't like what I see. It seems like I have to fight to keep the weight off. And when my husband looks at other women, it makes me crazy. I want him to look at me that way. Is it hopeless? Sometimes I feel like giving up.
Judy Singer's Meta System can help you lose the weight you want and increase energy. Our balanced program focuses on teaching you healthy eating, getting your body moving, and motivating your mind to reach your goals. And our counselors are available by phone 7 days per week.
I'm Judy Singer, and I've been helping people just like you achieve their weight loss and health goals for over 20 years.
Our products and programs are customized specifically for you with an all-natural approach. Call now for a free 3-day supply. 800-711-JUDY. 800-711-5839. That's 800-711-JUDY.
Find out what HTOS is up to at HTOSradioshow.com.
Taking your phone calls at 888-5222, 888-5222. That's the 909 area code. Also, send us your email, HTOSradio@hotmail.com, HTOSradio@hotmail.com. Your local network, ABC, is running a documentary.
Yep.
And it's funny how they always blame Clinton. They always go back on blaming Clinton for everything. We talked about it several times. The Bush administration does something wrong. It's Clinton. They blame Clinton for not going after Osama bin Laden.
Yep.
It's Clinton.
Well, they had all sorts of rumors. But the thing is, he wanted an advanced copy of that so he can see what was wrong with it or what they said about him.
Well, they can't just say Clinton's over. It's done. Okay, Clinton didn't go after Osama bin Laden. If he did or if he didn't, who cares? It's done. He's done.
Yeah, you can't turn back the hand of time and expect...
Go ahead.
And you can't turn back the hand of time and expect him to correct it.
President Bush hasn't gone after Osama bin Laden yet. And he claims this guy is behind the whole 9/11 thing. And
you know what? When I see President Bush's guys going after Osama bin Laden, you know what I see it as? I see Osama bin Laden on a white stallion horse riding away. And here comes our administration on a donkey. Just trying to trace him down.
On a camel.
Yeah, or something. Something that's off. Well, a donkey's a lot slower. It's kind of funny.
That's funny.
It's kind of funny how we can't find Osama bin Laden.
That's funny how you bring up a jackass for a jackass.
Yeah, but you think about it. We can't find Osama bin Laden, but with the little spy satellites and all the stuff that they got, they can find a dime on the street.
Yeah.
But they can't find one man. One old bearded crippled man.
They don't want to.
Oh, I'm sure they know exactly where he's at. And either one or two things are going to happen. One, they're going to wait until just about the election so then that way they can have, look at what our side of the administration did. So now we look good and that makes the Republicans look good, right? Mm-hmm. Now, or they're just going to let it go, and they're just going to ride in the sunset together, if you will, as George goes out this way, Osama's going to head out this way, out of Afghanistan into Pakistan into someplace, and I'm sure that he's probably got a little place over at Crawford Ranch.
You think Osama's in Crawford?
No, I'm not saying, but I'm sure they're building the place for him. I'm sure that they're building. If you think about it, Osama is really kind of helping out George Bush's legacy.
You bet.
Whether good or bad, George thinks it's good. The rest of the world I don't want to say the rest of the world, because you still got a few that believe in, that are on the side of George Bush. And yet, as ABC comes out with this video, we got to have this video edited.
Yeah.
Why are we editing this video? If the director makes a movie, let it stand as it is. It doesn't need to be. Why? Because it depicts President Clinton playing golf when he gets a phone call from his chief of staff saying, hey, we have a chance to kill Osama bin Laden. Oh, but you wait, we can't do that because there's a Saudi prince right next to him. So therefore, we don't want to whack everybody at one time. That's crazy. If it's something that we need to do, then just whack him. You know what? You got to break a couple eggs to make an omelet. Mm-hmm. You have to do that.
All these government officials are in the sack together anyway. One government over another government is just baloney.
We're all together.
Yeah. 888-5222, 888-5222. David Corona. Hey, man.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Not much.
Hey, listen, about the people in the airport with the rifles and all.
Yeah, you see the newspaper?
Well, I haven't seen that picture yet, but every once in a while you'll see a picture of that, somewhere out in the United States, or in the United States, airport security and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I happen to like firearms, so I kind of like looking at them rifles, But, I think overall people have a sense of that they maybe they feel safer because of the heightened security measures.
Mm-hmm.
But it kind of all goes back to the border issue. If we cannot take care of our borders, how are we going to feel safer? Is that kind of just a facade that we see this security at the airports just to make us feel better?
Yeah.
Well,
we can't even take care of our own borders. I mean, we got thousands of people crossing the border illegally every day. I mean, every day. and I think we're going to start to feel safer once our president starts to speak more bold and maybe continue to call these terrorists Islamofascists.
He's not going to be bolder.
Right, but that's what we need him to do, and I think he needs to say,
He won't do it because he's going to pander to every little sidekick.
It looks that way, and I think what he's going to have to do is says, hey, you guys want to feel safer, then, we got to do this. We got to make two separate lines. Mm-hmm. You over there, you fit the profile of the terrorist. You stay in that line.
Well, you can't do that because then you got the ACLU, their arms up in air, or else you got this group over here, you got that group over there going, wait a minute. Wait, you're profiling me. Hold on. No, why ain't you whoa, you're profiling him. What's up with us? We're the bad guys. Come on. It ain't going to work.
Well, that's what we've got ourselves into over the last few years. Nobody wants to offend anybody.
You know how you got to feel safer? You're going to have to get the president's got backbone and say, listen,
right,
stop. This is what we're going to do. We're going to go after people. If you don't like it, get the hell out of America. Get out. And as far as the ACLU goes, shut up.
Right, and it's ultimately his responsibility because after all, he is our leader.
Yeah, well, he has to be the one. Technically, he's supposed to be the leader.
Yeah, he's in the position to be our leader, and he has to act like our leader. And if he's going to act like our leader, then other people are going to be following him. And if the people like, say, the ACLU come up and say stuff, then, they got to find a way to deal with these people, maybe, and use the RICO law to get these guys.
Well, you know what? Back in the day, and I hearken back in the day. I love the old days, and kind of I'm glad I'm not. In a way, I wish I was born back in the time when Elliot Ness was around. Because when Elliot Ness used to go round up all little gangster, the mafia or the gangsters, Al Capone and all them, they didn't have no ACLU. They didn't have none of this, oh, wait a minute, you're targeting me. It was either put up or shut up. Yeah. That's how you want to feel safer. Shut up, and either you get in line or you get out.
But we do have a constitution to withhold here.
Where? It's all gone now, Nick. You just said everything's gone.
I understand that. I'm just saying now.
What? No. You know what needs to happen? And Dave, I don't know. You might like it or not. How about the Constitution? We're going to have to rewrite it.
No.
And either you're American or you're going to live by our laws and do the right thing, or else just get out.
Well, I've heard some people talk about temporary suspending it, but I don't know about that.
I don't either.
How, if you temporarily suspend that, you know what kind of chaos and mayhem that's going to be?
Oh, yeah. But
well,
you also got to remember something else that the terrorists said, and I think this is very important. The terrorists also said that they're going to use our technology, they're going to use our law, and they're going to use our Constitution to get us, to go against us.
Oh, they're doing every bit of that, and I'll tell you what, Dave, I don't feel any safer than that.
Mm-hmm. All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Dave.
I just don't feel any safer.
I think you've lost your mind, Howard.
Why?
I think you've lost your mind today.
I think that I should be in charge, and if this is what I would do, I would set up a task force. Hey, each state is going to have this law, and this is the way it is. Either you show proof that you're an American citizen, or round them up. And then we will screen you. We'll do a complete family background check on you. If you're good to go, you're not tied to any kind of criminal activity, you're not tied to any kind of Al-Qaeda or any of this other crazy stuff, we'll put you back where you belong and you can live your peaceful life. But let one hair fall out of your head and it fall on the floor the wrong way. Your butt will be on the first plane heading back to your country of origins. Because enough is enough. We talk about it all the time. It has to happen. And how about we make these laws exactly the same in each and every state? That's the problem. Every state has a different law. Okay? Every state has a different law, or they interpret it different. It's cut and dry. This is the way it is. It's going to be this way or get out. It's kind of like, we've talked about this before, the drunk driving rule. Well, in some states you can have 10 DUIs before they decide to lock you up. Other states, 2, then you're locked up. You kill people. Why do they have the 3-strike rule? Why? Stupid. You kill somebody, done. You're done. You're done. It's over. Don't put no more quarters in the machine. You're done. That's the problem. But no, you got all the lawyers. You got the ACLUs. You got all this stuff to go, no, his rights were taken. What about the rights of the victim that just died, that little SOB killed? But it's okay. And yet, we feel safer.
888-5222, 888-5222. Let's get another call before I go to break. Let's go to David in Victorville. Dave, what's up, man?
Hey, excuse me, how's it going?
All right, and you?
Going fine, David.
Oh, I can't complain for an old guy. I'm doing all right. Thank you.
Cool.
Howard, have you lost your mind, Howard?
Yes, I have. I'm tired of all these people complaining and crying and all this crazy stuff that's happening. What are we going to do? They talk about, we want to feel safer. But you had a comment for me. You want to know if I'm okay.
Well, the thing is what I find so ironic, the whole thing is that what you're talking about is that the terrorists allegedly, one thing about, George Bush says they hate us for our freedoms, but yet the real terrorist at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue is the one that's locking down the freedoms of the American people.
Well, yeah, if you think about it. Go ahead.
At the same time, they keep the border wide open and allow everybody who's your daddy into the building.
I brought this up many times. I said, hey, George Bush, I don't have a problem these guys coming in. Open up your doors. They're at the White House. It's a big White House. You can fit many families in there.
They're used to it.
And,
am I right, Dave? I don't know.
I was just going to also say that, it's important for most of Americans to realize that they don't live in a constitutional government anymore.
Yeah, you're right.
You're right. It's gone. That's why I said we got to redo it. We got to redo it.
No, I don't.
We need to go back to our forefathers and say, you know what? We owe you an apology. We owe you guys an apology because we just jacked it up. In matter of less than 200 years, we screwed up.
Well, I don't know if it was a matter of screwing up as much as it was of purposely dismantling the Republic.
There, you did it.
You
said it.
Well, in either way, it's still the same thing. You owe an apology to the forefathers.
If somebody does something accidentally and doesn't, that's one thing. But the destruction of the United States has been done on purpose. Again, I give you the instance of the fact that the border has been left wide open after we were supposedly attacked by, 19 hijackers with cell phones and some guy on dialysis in a cave in Afghanistan, leading the entire parade. I've watched a lot of Saturday morning cartoons when I was a kid, but I grew up with those. And, a lot of people just unfortunately don't want to grow out of this Saturday morning cartoon scenario that the government keeps telling them about 9/11.
Yep, exactly.
But that being said, when somebody breaks into your home through the front door, you don't fix the front door and take the back door off its hinges and expect not to get broken into again. But that's exactly what the United States has done. And that right there alone should be proof enough that the government was responsible for 9/11.
You said it.
Yep.
I mean, that if you were truly attacked and truly had this was done by foreign agents,
right?
Then it would have been automatic to close the border and not allow anybody in anymore.
Exactly. Hey, David, we're up against the break. We're gonna. But you call back in any time, all right? Because you got a wonderful insight and you're a great, intelligent man.
He said it right there. He said you do not fix your front door and take your back door off the hinges. That's exactly what we're doing right here on the border. Wide open. Don't care. Don't care at all. Are we safer? We are no safer than we were before 9/11.
We are safer because we've taken action to protect the homeland. We are safer because we are on the offense against our enemies overseas. We're safer because of the skill and sacrifice of the brave Americans who defend our people.
We're safer.
Where the donkey's at.
Yeah. Well, he was right there. You didn't hear him?
HTOS. This is HTOS.
The new school year is a good time to remember that it takes commitment from all of us, especially families and teachers, to help kids achieve their dreams. Here's what parents and kids have to say.
We definitely need to have a team. It has to be the family, the student, and the teacher.
I have a really good teacher.
All the teachers want is a willing student so that they can do what they love to do, which is to teach.
Their job is one of the most important jobs in the whole world.
Equally as important to the police or fire. It saves their lives, but in a different way.
They are the ones our children will remember.
It makes me feel special and glad that I have a teacher like that.
Thank you, because my two daughters have had the most wonderful teachers.
When I grow up, I'd like to be an architect. I want to be in the Navy. A marine biologist. A radio personality.
Professional baseball player.
I want to be a teacher.
For tips on how to help your child succeed in school, ask a teacher. This back-to-school reminder was brought to you by the California Teachers Association, because every child deserves a chance to learn, and no child succeeds alone.
Honey, what's been bothering you these last few weeks?
Oh, nothing. Well, that's not true. It's the move. After all, we're selling our home, buying another. I don't know what to do first.
I see. Well, so it's not me.
That's good.
How come you're not stressing out?
You always stress out.
Well, I contacted Kim Reese at First Team Real Estate. She's the one realtor that answered all my questions. Buying and selling. She builds a trust and rapport, and she's a financial planner that'll help us as we get older.
You did that for us?
Well, yeah. I went to her website, firstteam.com/Kim Reese. And then I called her at 951-532-4595. And I gave her our situation, and Kim said, relax, leave everything to her.
So where is Kim Reese located? And her number again? I have a few questions, too.
She's at 3739 Adams Street, Suite 100 in Riverside, 92504. To reach her by phone, it's 951-532-4595. That's 3739 Adams Street, Suite 100, Riverside, 92504. Or to reach her on the phone, it's 951-532-4595.
Let's call Kim Reese. So do just like us. Take the stress out of buying a new home and selling your old one. And contact Kim Reese from First Team Real Estate at 951-532-4595 or online at firstteam.com/Kim Reese. You can email Kim at kimreese@firstteam.com. And don't stress out like my husband did.
Listen to this.
Hey, it's the thought that counts, right?
Maybe.
You know AIS.
From Walt Disney Home Video.
Swiss America has built a solid reputation.
Buy one day, get a year free at Universal Studios.
These voices and more are available at rightafterthis.com.
It's the show that's big the way I can figure it out, turning it on.
This kind of music and jingle production is available at rightafterthis.com. And whatever else you need to sound good, from phone-on-hold messaging to infomercials to national award-winning copywriting to hot radio commercial production. In our state-of-the-art sound laboratories, we bring new audio into the world, and then we spank it. Broadcast studio facilities available in the Media District, North Hollywood, California. So, do what HTOS did and check out rightafterthis.com. www.rightafterthis.com.
I just want to say this is a wonderful thing, what you're doing, you know? So the public can pick up on what's happening, like, you know?
You can email HTOS at htosradio@hotmail.com.
(888-5222), 888-5222. HTOS Radio at hotmail.com. HTOS Radio at hotmail.com. Taking your phone calls. All the topics that we're talking about. We're talking about the Los Angeles airport police officer who is standing there, Bradley International Terminal, there at the LAX there, with M16. And then another piece strapped to his pant leg. And no one seems to care. We're talking about personal liberties. We're talking about remembrance of 9/11, and we're taking your calls. 888-5222. 888-5222.
You know, you look at this. This is here we go with Bush on a week that supposedly a new tape came out with Osama bin Laden hanging around some of the hijackers.
Yeah, and it's funny how that tape came out when he was giving that speech about the Guantanamo Bay detainees.
Yeah, and isn't that kind of funny how all of a sudden, we have terrorist camps, House. We have terrorist, like, little concentration camps and stuff. Like, we didn't know that before. Let's think about this. Why now is he saying that he has all these detainees, and why did he move them from where they were at all the way down into Guantanamo Bay so that way he can hold a special trial? And he wants to have the policy for his anti-terror strategy, which was apparently struck down by the Superior Court. But he's going to find a way.
Yeah, the Supreme Court, yeah.
He's going to find a way that where he can go ahead and try to go ahead and hold some kind of court-martial, some kind of some kind of trial, whether it be like kind of a military tribunal type thing, how they're doing, not Osama bin Laden, but the other bearded jackass. What's his name? Saddam.
Yeah, Saddam.
How they're trying to do a trial like that. Mm-hmm. You know what? And I know he went ahead and read a bunch of the names on these guys. It just seems kind of weird in the sense that he's moving them down there. Is there some kind of international law? Is he trying to stonewall just a little bit? You know, you got all these suspected Al-Qaeda, the Taliban, all these operatives that were rounded up in Afghanistan and Pakistan and obviously all these other countries. Mm-hmm. And yet, here we go. These were never brought up until about now. The same time that tape that you talked about came out. Mm-hmm. Is this try to counter? Is this trying to ease the fact that here he was with this Osama bin Laden, went ahead and released this tape and stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Now that kind of heightens Americans' tension just a little bit. Now they're kind of fearful a little bit. So now he brings out this and says, look, we have all these guys, we've captured them, we've had them for a while, we're all moving them down to Guantanamo Bay. So that way we can take care of business and we can take care of these guys and we can pump them for all sorts of information. Mm-hmm. Once we get them all their information, then we'll go ahead and have their trial or whatever.
Now that Bush says 14 top terrorists have been moved to Guantanamo, he's pushing legislation that would set up military commissions that would try detainees there. South Texas College of Law professor Gerald Tree says the goal is to get a plan that's going to satisfy the Supreme Court.
The real question is going to be whether or not the procedures that are passed are sufficient to comply with what the court's ordered.
And as for the until now secret CIA prisons around the globe, political analyst George Strong says,
I think this is not good because we've been denying that we've had these prisons.
He says the admission won't go over well with some in the international community. Tom Matthews, Houston.
See, there you go. Special thanks to Tom Matthews there in Houston. But the whole thing is this. Is he... Remember we talked about this before. We're a land of laws. Mm-hmm. But yet he seems to be breaking them.
Yeah, all the time. He seems to be breaking them all the time. Yeah. 888-5222, 888-5222. We're taking some of your phone calls on this issue. A law of lands, you say, Howard. He always talks about a law of lands.
A law of lands, but yet, and I guarantee you, Monday night, he'll mention we are also a law of land, you know, and so, if you look at it, if we're a law of land, I mean, why are we doing all this secretive stuff? Why are we getting struck down with all these different rulings? Why are we not setting the precedents? Why is the border still open? Like David said, here we are. He mentioned it. You can't take the door off the front or off the back and put it on the front. These guys apparently, with this administration, they took the door off, and while they were moving it around the house, they apparently lost it. They lost the door, so now you have the front side and, of course, the back side open, coming down through Canada and up through Mexico. What? I mean, you know what? The ACLU may hate me, and all you guys that are, and I'll call them as under what the governor would have went ahead and said, all you girly men out there, all you different organizations, you know, you need to tighten up your belt, because I don't want to drive down the freeway wondering if that next U-Haul that I see is loaded up with something. I don't want to drive down the freeway going through some tunnel wondering if I'm going to make it out the other end. I don't want to go to some restaurant trying to figure out if I'm going to be able to eat my meal without getting shot up at. I want to be able to make sure I enjoy my meal. I don't want to wake up in the morning finding out that, oh, you know what? Yeah, we were attacked again, and it's out here in the Southland, and now I have to go ahead and scramble to try to make sure that my family and myself are okay. And the same thing should apply for you guys. So all you ACLU people, you guys should be going crazy and just demanding whatever the case might be, and just totally going off on these guys, because that's how it's going to have to be. You know, and you know, I want to say a special thanks to our guests that from the.
I got one quick email for you. One quick email. Let's do emails real quick, Howard. Is that all right?
All right.
HTOS.
Emails.
Emails.
Real quick, Howard. Email from Roger. I just heard HTOS radio show today. I like how they are going after the lowlifes who think they are running the country. Keep it up. More of you, less of them, I hope. Roger, Palm Springs, California. Thanks, Roger. You can send us your emails at htosradio@hotmail.com. What did I say? htosradio@hotmail.com. Also, our website, htosradioshow.com, right?
Yeah, and by the way, Nick, I have not lost my mind, and I appreciate David and everybody concerned. I'm just tired of these people.
All right, we got to go. Thanks to our special guest, Rachel Grosowitz. If I said that right. Do it next week. HTOS. Later.
You're on board KCAA's Inland Talk Express. KCAA, Loma Linda, 1050 AM, the station that leaves no listener behind.
The verdict is in. Passive air purifiers are ineffective. Hi, Scott Ritzema here for Eden Purity Systems. According to the EPA, indoor air is several times more polluted than outdoor air. Germs, dust, allergens, chemicals, mold, you name it. Well, our active home air purifier employs NASA technology that duplicates nature's own air cleaning methods to purify the air in your entire home, up to 3,000 square feet. Just one bookshelf speaker-sized unit per home, not one per room. With the threat of bird flu on the horizon, know that either you buy an air purifier or you are the air purifier. Our Made in America air purifier has been featured on Dateline and Oprah, and its effectiveness has been confirmed by peer-reviewed studies. Now, have you ever heard of a company returning to you almost half the purchase price in free gifts? This is the limited time offer from Eden Purity Systems. So call today for a free DVD and information about receiving half the purchase price back in free gifts. Call 1-866-359-0969, 1-866-359-0969, 1-866-359-0969.
Are you ready for Hurricane Annie? Buckle up, tune in, because it's time to get your Annie Armin live jam on. Starting September 17th, Sunday, 4 to 5 on KCAA 1050 AM. Annie Armin Live. Hook up with Annie Armin and get a powerful dose of antibiotics, empowering you to walk out of pollution and walk in with solution with no side effects. Tune in starting September 17th, Sundays 4 to 5 on KCAA AM 1050.
Calamari salad. You can make a wonderful, beautiful calamari salad by taking clean and cooked calamari cut up in a 1/2 inch wide. And then you need some shaved fennel, some minced garlic, minced Italian parsley, some olive oil, and sea salt. What you do, you take all this, you mix it with the calamari, and it's delicious. If you can make this the night before, all the thing marinates with the calamari, and it's great. And next recipe, I'll give you how to cook the calamari perfect.
Join Chef Piero for the Food and Wine Show Saturday mornings at 9 on AM 1050. KCAA.
Introducing the Rockin' Real Estate Show with Jeff Heller from Accredited Real Estate Schools and Jeff Markell from Home Loan Funder, providing you the keys to success with educational topics on the requirements to become a real estate salesperson and the requirements to become a real estate broker. And on today's real estate and loan market, tune in every Saturday at 5 on AM 1050, KCAA.
There's so many ways to make love, a million ways.
What's on your mind is what's on the radio. AM 1050 KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind.
All right, listeners, we are now live from Cheers in Moreno Valley, and have we got a great show for you today. I've got Nick LaCapria here. I got Roger Stark. We'll probably have Walt on Ice drift on in here in a little bit. And what a great season we've had in all forms of sports. We've got the beginning of the football season. We got the tail end of the baseball season. And now, here he is, Mr. Roger Starks, the big kahuna of sports.
Hey, thanks a lot, John Williams, and Nick LaCapra's on hand, and I'm Roger Starks, the big kahuna of sports. I know everything there is to know about sports, but whatever I don't know, who cares? By the way, we're at Cheers, one of the best sports bars in the Inland Empire, and certainly, probably the only best sports bar in Moreno Valley. If you're not here, you're not watching a football game. That's all I could say. You only watch if you're somewhere else. You're watching one game. We're watching Penn State, unfortunately, get their butts kicked by Notre Dame. I thought
What do you mean, unfortunately?
I thought Penn State was going to upset them.
I like Notre Dame.
Well, Notre Dame didn't show a lot last week because they only barely escaped Georgia Tech. But obviously, Georgia Tech came loaded, and Penn State, I don't know what happened to Penn State. I kind of hoped that Penn State was going to blow Notre Dame away.
Now, fighting Irishmen like you, kahuna?
I know. I used to think, listen, when I was a kid, I thought the Fighting Irish were a pro team. But anyway, we're also watching Washington hold their own with Oklahoma also. Washington last year was dead last in the Pac-10. I don't even think they won one game in the Pac-10, maybe 3 games on the season, or 2 games on the season, and they're trailing in the third quarter with 2:19. They're trailing 20